Let's go.
Yes, that was impressive.
Is that your tagline?
Yeah.
That's
well, not really our tagline. It's my personal. It's another company that
you have a clothing thing.
Yeah.
Right? We'll talk about that later. I wanted to start off the show by using Josh's other clothing line tagline, whatever it's called. We'll learn what it is. But welcome to the How I Built It show, an entrepreneur story here at the Lister Pro Studio in Tempe, Arizona. Man, the weeks go by fast. I swear.
Fast. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's a good thing. Allergies are up, like we were just talking about. Man. The weather's good. Allergies are sucky right now. Mm-hmm. It's kind of that transitional stage to 110-degree weather, but it's all good, like you were saying. Yeah. You'd rather take good weather than being back east like where you came from.
Amen. 100%. Right? No more snow.
My name's Andrew Augustiniak. I'm the branch manager at Prime Lending and your host for this show. This show is sponsored by the Augustiniak team at Prime Lending, but we got to give a shout out to our loyal, amazing, wonderful, awesome sponsors that have done business with me for years, but also sponsored this show for years. So let's give a quick shout out to them. We got Empire West Title, Seth Banda. You'll see Seth's beautiful face on your screen right now. We're on Facebook Live, but we'll also be on Apple Podcasts uploaded in the next week or so. So make sure to subscribe to our podcast in case you miss our episode live on Facebook. It's always on Apple Podcasts, so make sure to subscribe and show us some love. Next, we got Abe Bodden from Insurance Professionals of Arizona. If you need a quote on any of your insurance needs, car, rental property, boat, dog, girlfriend, whatever you want to insure, Abe can do that. You see his information up there. And then last but not least, Platinum Home Warranty, Yvonne Hunter. I know I say it every single show, but maybe if I keep saying it, you guys will believe me that if you do not renew or buy a new home warranty, especially in Arizona, especially going into the summer, and your AC craps out, you are screwed. So you make sure you want to have your home warranty there to cover your butt in case your AC goes out. Those are our sponsors. We love you. We thank you for all your support in this show, support doing business together, and you guys are awesome. So we'll give you another shout out at the end of the show. But we got to get to the main content of the show today. I'm super excited to have the founder of Grow Now social media agency, Josh Munoz. Mm-hmm. Josh and I met actually now it's been probably 2 months or so ago, through a mutual friend, Scottsdale Spotlight founder, Eric Fulham. And Josh contacted me about he coaches small businesses, local business and big businesses, but contacted me about using my office. I use my office a lot, and if anybody ever needs to use my conference space,
super nice.
Thank you. I loved it. Shout out to my wife, Brittany, for designing it.
Shout out to your wife.
Gotta give her love because I had nothing to do with it. But no, a lot of people will use my space whenever they need it for classes. And so my boy Eric reached out, said, hey, this is Josh. Josh is teaching this class for small businesses, a lot of local entrepreneurs. And he goes, hey, he needs a space. I was like, for sure. Use it anytime. Josh texts me, comes, checks out the space. First morning class is supposed to be there. I totally forget about it. He's got you got 20 people in this class. Yeah, 20 people coming to our spot, 9 o'clock on a Friday. I am nowhere to be found. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get over there. So long story short, we got the office open, but Josh has a social media agency that's geared toward marketing and branding and everything social media related for businesses. But let's kind of give everybody a backstory of where you came from, how you got there, and then we'll kind of talk about the business side, but kind of built that foundation to the story.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, your office is beautiful.
Thank you.
Love it. I walked in, I was like, what? These motivational quotes everywhere. I was like, this is perfect. Like, this is so me.
You got that buffalo because the buffalo represents strength and power.
Yeah, really cool. Super clean. So if you need somewhere to rent, you definitely should.
You don't even need to rent it. You can just use it. I just people. I like people coming to my office to hang out.
Yeah.
You know, it's the vibe. A lot of real realtors would come work out of the office. Some of your people from your class stayed after and worked at the office
for
a couple hours. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
Love
and they're
it.
so awesome. But quick story about the buffalo. So we have buffalo. Obviously, that's one of our logos. But we have buffalo all over the office. You've seen that. And the reason why, the story behind the buffalo is like, in a storm, like buffaloes like keep their ground and everything. You know, cows run away from the storm catches up with them and kills them. Buffalo walk directly into the storm because they know if they walk into the storm, because they're going the opposite way of the storm, it'll go by fast because they're going against it. Therefore, they're not going to endure it that long.
Wow, that's some deep meaning.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
I like that.
So there's subliminal messaging.
Everything's subconscious.
Yes, exactly. All right. So yeah, thank you for complimenting the office.
Yeah, I love it. So so I was born and raised in Boston, a city called Haverhill, which is north of Boston. And what really kind of got me into the marketing sense of it was, you know, I grew up kind of like the average kid playing high school sports, stuff like that, and going through college, you know, going through the process of applying for college, which is scary for any 17, 18-year-old who's graduating high school going, you know, I just had to ask to go to the bathroom. Now I have to figure out what's my life decisions, right? Yeah. So it's obviously scary. So I was kind of lost on what I wanted to do. And then, you know, ran into my best friend who was always done karate his whole life and got introduced to karate. So at 19 years old, was introduced and fell in love with taking classes and had the concept of teaching classes, which was like cool. It put me in a position where I can now lead others and I can now help others, which I didn't realize I really loved. Right.
But you just fell in love with karate.
That's it. Fell in love with karate.
That was seriously, when you told me that was the last thing that I thought you would say. I mean, a lot of people don't like. I tell them I used to play professional golf and all this stuff, and that's the last thing they probably think I was gonna say. But like karate, you being from Boston and being karate, like it's so cool, and that's the whole premise of the show is like everybody has a different story. Yeah. And there's so many people in this world, and it's so crazy to think like sitting in bed when you just sit there and you're like, holy crap, like everybody has their own story, and everybody's story is so interesting because it's just variety. Everybody in this office, there's completely different life stories that could be an interesting book about that anybody would want to read into, you know? Yeah. And it's so crazy. So you karate. And if anybody saw his our promo picture for Josh, it's him doing
a front kick.
So he calls us social media black belt.
Yep.
So that's kind of where that whole ties together. But so then what happened? So you got a passion for it.
Well, I got a passion for the culture and the positivity. So the school that I was at was really about like positive environment, affirmations. Like we had to walk in on the dojo and say, yes, I can. Walk off, we say, yes, I can. So it was something where, because I was engulfed with this positive environment, I got introduced to a lot of my mentors now, right? So I got introduced to Tony Robbins. I got introduced to John T. Maxwell. My first sales video was a sales video from Brian Tracy back in like the 80s and 90s. My instructor was just like, watch this sales video. You have to get good at selling if you really want to help more people. Yeah. And I was like, I'm all for it, you know. So
karate's a hard thing too to grow, isn't it? Like as far as they call the facility a dojo.
The dojo, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so
catching on.
Yeah, look at you, graduate grasshopper. So the dojo, it's an interesting business, and absolutely love the business, and if you do it right, just like anything else, right? There's a majority of people who run karate schools, they're just a great karate practitioner. Yeah. Doesn't mean you're great in business. Yeah. I mean, I know people that are way more qualified or were way more qualified than us, but we ran a better school because it's about the business and the service and, you know, having, you know, how you treat your customers, how you deliver your service. You know, if you're too advanced, you'll lose people. And now you're actually lowering confidence and self-esteem. Yeah. So for us, we were a big personal development dojo. Like we were big on messages every week. We had messages as instructors would practice and deliver messages on happiness, on self-esteem, on confidence, on discipline, on focus. So attaching both the physical with the mental is what really kind of started building my confidence, right? Mm-hmm. So I realized, crap, I thought I had self-esteem, right? Yeah. I was the cool kid, like making jokes all the time, not afraid to get in front of anyone. And then I have these little kids doing, just punching and kicking. I'm just like, what? And it was an interesting kind of transition. And because of that, you realize you start looking internal, right? You start looking like in the mirror saying,
Yeah.
all right, well, I do have to be more disciplined. You know, I do have to make my bed. I do have to do, you know, put my shoulders back, chin up.
Yeah.
Those little things in martial arts is what really helped kind of build who I am. And that's why I combined my brand, which my personal brand is social media as black belt.
Yeah.
Because I just not just marketing. I'm not just a black belt. I do multiple things. You know,
Yeah.
we're just not one thing.
Yeah.
So, so because I was obsessed with helping people, I mean, I dropped out of college for this opportunity, and I just never knew I would be a karate guy. Right?
Yeah.
It was like I'm walking around every day with pajamas, you know, walk around with like sandos and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and walk around in parking lots saying, "Hey, does your kid want to do karate?" You know, so I was doing the traditional marketing, was just going out there and just pressing the flesh, and
like that shows a lot. Like you were out there hustling. Like we were talking the other day.
Mhm.
That's such a tough thing to do because karate, I feel like 10 years ago karate had more of a hype, you know.
Yeah.
It's like then CrossFit,
mm-hmm.
and then you have Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and everybody has a hype, and like going out to find people to come do karate for kids, it's tough because you can't just, you're right, you can't just say, hey, come do karate, like you were talking about the positivity, the self-esteem growth. But it's like that's a hustle. Like I still to this day, like for me, a hustle is when there's bulk trash day around my neighborhood, I'm not even ashamed of it. I drive around and I'll call my wife, got something good.
Scored.
Got something good. They left a table outside. And I literally will, people have seen me in my neighborhood going through people's bulk trash. I'm that guy. And this is a beautiful table.
Yeah.
And I'll walk down it's like the whole street with the table on my shoulders, dun, 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 like I'm pumped up.
Yeah.
And then I'll slab on some chalk paint onto it and give it a little fresh little kick. Boom. Throwing an offer up, $125.
There we go.
Go find a little side table. Go find chairs. Some IKEA chairs.
Yeah.
Somebody will pay $30 for an IKEA chair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not that great, but someone paid $25, $30.
Yeah.
So that's something that like you have to love doing that, and it has to be something internally. And if you find that in that thing that gets you going, like you like hustling and getting people in karate, like that's a big foundation builder in life, I think.
For sure. Yeah.
If it's natural.
Oh yeah, it's not. And then my instructor was really good. Shout out to Sensei. He's fighting right now in Dubai.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, his first pro fight. But he was actually my best friend and became my mentor, my first mentor. And he was the one who was kind of like, I'm going to be uncomfortable. We're friends, but like, I'm going to make you do these things, but it's going to be for the better, for the longevity. And he would make me go out there. He's like, don't come back to the dojo unless you spoke to 100 people. Just introduce yourself to 100 people.
100 people.
With the uniform. So I'm walking around Home Depot.
In your uniform.
Walmart with my uniform, pretending I'm buying something. Go, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm Josh. I'm the program director here of Cassius True Martial Arts in Plastow, in New Hampshire. You know, so it was
just anybody.
Anyone. He was like, just talk to 100 people, right? So I was tracking each person. So what it taught me was just not to be afraid to go out there, right? So he was like, if you really believe you're changing people's lives, then what's stopping you, right? Like there's robbers and killers and bad people who are working just as hard, and you're trying to bring good to the world, and you're not working hard as them. How does that work? Yeah. And I was like, ooh.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, it was really cool. The perspective of it was just, it made me realize, all right, being uncomfortable for a little bit is worth it.
Yeah.
And then through that, it became easy. I mean, I'm not afraid to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
You know?
I can tell.
So
but that's right. And there's so many people, and the title of this show is "Let the Fear Go." Hold on, we gotta give a shout out. So Ryan Anzoni says, "Let's go, my dude is live." Miguel Angel Feliz,
yes,
gives a little muscle.
Let's go.
And Ryan says, "Josh, always dropping knowledge. Miss you, bro."
That's my business partner. Let's go.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah.
Okay, so but that's the truth right there.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what business you are in.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, most businesses are meeting people.
Sure.
Meeting people in growing your brand in an organic way. Yeah, you can market all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we talk about Facebook and social media. Like if you can have that side, but if you don't have the other side as far as touching base with people and actually having that face-to-face and actually getting to know them and meeting people naturally, then that's really more surface level. You got to have both sides to put them together.
Sure. And I think just social media now is just the same thing. You're networking, but online.
Yeah.
You know, you want to build the quality relationships. And that was it. You know, I got addicted to building relationships, and I knew everything about my students. I knew their birthdays. I'll go to the house. I knew where they live. I knew what they did for fun. I knew what their parents did for fun. I really loved them, you know, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I really loved everyone around me because that's the only way you're going to grow anything, right? So it's like most people don't even have that internally, right? So if that's not even a culture in your business, then there's no way that you're going to be able to do videos and post other content on social media. You have to handle everything first internally, and then external marketing makes it easier, you know, outbound marketing.
You got to speak your truth. What are you doing this for?
Yeah.
There's so many people who you can tell when somebody doesn't give a crap about the individuals as far as who they do business with, their clientele, their networking partners. You can tell when they're only driven for the money, as opposed to if you actually care about the individuals, the reputation of yourself. And it's interesting. There's a lot of business models out there that, you know, they'll go for the, I'm going to get 5,000 clients. I don't care if I lose 1,000 clients because I'm going for the 5,000. And if that's their truth and that's their business model, more power to them. But you got to understand what your truth is, and you got to go all in on it. When, like, for me, I am so big on every single person. I want to make sure every single person is having, because to me that's my truth. I could care less about the individuals. I care about my employees. I care about my customers. I care about my clients, because to me they're all friends. Yeah. And my reputation matters to me. So I'm not okay losing the clients because I'm going to gain 10 more. Right. I'd rather say 10 more, go away. I need to make sure that one client's happy. 100%. That's my truth. So for you, it sounds like your truth was caring about these people so much. And then that gave you the confidence to, like, let the fear go, because you figured out that the positivity, the caringness, like, that's what it was all about. Yeah. Yeah. And most people just want to feel important, right? So it's like we live in the day and age where everyone's no one's has emotional fitness, right? So it's like our emotions are everywhere. So when we're a place of like we shed positivity and we have, you know, just a good outlook on things, that's a breath of fresh air for people, because they don't get that. 90% of the time, their work environment's negative, their house environment's negative, TV news negative, everything's negative. So I said, hey, if I could just be freaking positive because I love the way it feels. Yeah. It feels good, so I'm going to keep doing it. Yeah. I'm just going to spread that, you know. And that with caringness, if I just care, that's perfect, you know. And so I've had so many people saying, one day, Josh, you'll get paid for your energy and your positivity. And I was like, I don't know how, but it will happen. Isn't it amazing, though? You know, it feels good to be positive, and it's like it's that simple. Sure. It feels good to be positive. Yeah. Why aren't more people positive? Right. Seriously, from the business people that you work with and you teach these classes for, why aren't people more positive? Honestly, I think it's just our conditioning, right? So if you look at everything from our beliefs, working with kids, I really realized this, right? The younger they get, the easier it is. More patience, but easier they understand. And they'll actually grasp things, because we learn all our limited beliefs, fears between the ages of 0 and 7 years old. So between what you did before you were born to you are 7 years old, still replays in your mind subconsciously, right? So a lot of times those environments we didn't pick, right? We didn't pick what family we were born in. We didn't pick what city we lived in, what condition, what money we made, what we did, how we did things. We learned everything. So a lot of people now are still just stuck in the rut. So what I believe is the reprogramming of your mind is how you get there. Yeah. And that's what karate did. Karate came in and said, you're a white belt. And it's like, you don't know how to fight, and I need to teach you. Yeah. You know, and then if you apply that white belt mindset to every aspect of your life, now you're constantly growing, because now it's like, I'm happy but not satisfied. Yeah. Right. So it's like the biggest room is room for improvement. Yep. That's what we always used to teach our students, because having that concept is huge. So most people are just living the patterns over and over again, and they're not aware of what they're thinking about, how they're feeling, or not even know what it means. Most people just don't take the time to learn how we're emotional
human beings, right? So most people don't even take the time to practice emotions.
Yeah.
Like there's a book called Emotional Intelligence by, I think, Daniel Coleman. I read the book 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I wasn't the smartest I didn't have resources, right? I was just resourceful, right? So like I said, all right, I want to learn how to be emotionally fit. I buy emotional fitness book.
Yeah.
I want to learn how to set goals. I would buy a goal book and read it and just apply it. It's not that complicated. We complicate it ourselves. So a lot of business owners, what I always like to mention is that we can market your business, but we can't fix your business.
Yeah.
So that means that you may have to work on a lot of things where if you're attracting a lot of negativity, well, what's your mindset on things, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're so negative on things, your whole staff's going to be negative, your service is going to be negative. Like as business owners, a lot of times we have no clue what we're doing. We're just going to do something to see if it works.
Yeah.
Right. So having a negative mindset and being fearful only attracts more obstacles and more kind of turmoil.
Yeah.
So I think as business owners, we have to take time to reflect and work on us.
Yeah.
It's not our business, not our industry, not the economy, not anything else. It's us. Right.
Well, that's the truth right there, because, you know, you were telling me that you guys do obviously the media, the social media,
Mm-hmm.
but you also do lead gen and stuff like that for different businesses. And I could see, and correct me if I'm wrong, but one probably common roadblock that you run into, going back to your, like, we can help grow your business, but we can't fix your business, is you may develop the best lead gen system for this business, but if they don't have the ability to track it, contact them efficiently, organize themselves to convert those, then probably the common reaction is they're probably struggling, therefore they get mad at you and start blaming you.
Yeah. No, that's big in this industry. So this industry, honestly, is leading me more to consulting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, simple things of just not focusing on marketing. Well, it's like, all right, well, I'll go to a client, they go, well, I want to get, well, how much does your services cost? Well, it's like, all right, well, how much does your product cost?
Yeah.
You know, let's break things down, right? I'm all about taking my time to onboard clients and rather just go slow on bringing someone on, because I rather make sure everything's set up correctly. If not, they're not going to see the growth or the progress.
Yeah.
Right? Like we have a client, we just did some ads and it's like, all right, we spent $300 in ad spend, made $900. Cool. If we can scale this, but we're tracking the numbers. We're seeing what's going in and what's going out. Most business owners are clueless, me being one at one point, right?
Yeah.
We're all at that point. But we have to take responsibility as business owners to take on marketing serious. You know, I want to hire a marketing expert. Great. What marketing campaigns have you done before?
Yeah.
Nothing. Okay. Well, how much do you spend on marketing? Nothing. Okay. Well, if you're not focusing on marketing, or if you're not tracking how many leads you get, what's your close rate? You know, how many sales do you get per month? How many clients do you lose per month? I mean, these are numbers that we should be tracking, right? Like these are things that working at the karate school really taught me. I always had the active count, and every day I was like, I need to get the active count up. All right. How many appointments do I have to get? All right. How many leads, how many leads I have to get this many appointments? And I just reverse engineered. All right. I want 10 new members this month or 10 new clients this month. How many appointments is going to take? Based off that, how many leads will it take to get that many appointments?
Yeah.
And then from there, where can I get my lead sources, right? So marketing has never changed. I just love preaching social media marketing because it's the fastest, quickest, and free way to, unless you pay advertisement, it's a free way to market yourself and you market your business. So because of that, that's a big factor where a lot of people don't realize, where it's like, you're not even focused on marketing. You know, it's like you have nothing tracked. You don't have a platform to track your marketing. You have no email list. You don't have anything. So you need a foundation. And that's why we started doing these classes called E3 Process, because we're giving people a system to at least do their content and have that systemized, so you at least be consistently posting content on your business page for 3 to 4 months before we even talk about the next steps.
Gotcha.
Because if you can't even take advantage of the free platforms, why would you want to start paying? So
back up a second. So you started. Obviously, you have the karate background, and you started the Grow Now social media agency. Yeah. And what initially what did you do, and then how did, obviously, couple years later it's kind of altered, and you say you're doing more consulting classes and stuff like that. So what was the goal starting out? And then how did it change to what you're doing now?
Yeah, so great question. So a transition out of the karate school was very difficult.
Yeah.
So it was very hard to get out of there. So I hit a little turmoil personally, right? I gained 40 pounds, lost myself emotionally after I knew all this motivation.
That was like your home, right?
Yeah, it was my home. It was my identity, right? So like me being my title, which was Dashi Munoz, that was it. I was doing it every day. I mean, I didn't care about social media at that point, unless my social media back then. If you go on my pages now, you still see it.
Yeah.
All karate pitch. I was just sharing what I was loved doing, and
Yeah.
that was bringing more students too.
Yeah.
You know, and I had no clue what I was doing at that point. But yeah, getting out of it, I knew I wanted to do my own business. I want to work for myself. I wanted to work anywhere remotely. I didn't want to have an office. I wanted to set up my life, right? So I'd read a book called 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss and talk about setting up your life. And I really just had to figure out what I love doing. I love helping people. I love business. Perfect. Industry was popping up with social media marketing for business owners. And I see a lot of marketers that have no concept of running a business or never been into a small business environment trying to now help coach small business owners. It's hard. You can't speak the same language. You know, if I know how it was where I was opening the door at 8 a.m., going to, running a few classes, closing it for an hour break, coming back, open it, and then not closing until 9 o'clock at night for years, right? So it's like I understood the grind as a small business owner. So I said, all right, I could take my love for helping people and business and match it up with social media.
Yeah.
So I started it with the intention of helping small business owners really find the best way to market.
Yeah.
For me, if I was able to collect more leads as I know how to do now, back then, my karate school would have been rocking even more. It would make me so much more happier, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, oh man, my whole thing was like 200 students. If I could get to 200 students, it would just be an impact. I mean, we'll have so many instructors, we'll have so many students. I just loved helping people. So I just did the same thing, but for marketing. And I see a lot of small business owners who don't know how to run a business, which it makes sense. We don't have, it's even school sometimes will teach you practical,
but still, there's
not to replace is actually running a business. Developing culture, developing staff, developing services, offerings, business structure. It's like they don't teach that, So I saw the gap and started with it and started realizing, crap, people don't only need help with marketing, they need help with just business structure. Yeah. And I'm like, people don't even have their business run together. And you see businesses that are making some good money and they don't even have no clue what they're doing. So that's a cool thing for us as entrepreneurs to realize, like, don't be afraid to step into a business you want to do. No one in business really knows what they're doing anyways. We're just all trying to figure it out, and we're still figuring it out, right? Yeah. At different levels, but to the bottom of the point, we just kind of do everything to see what works.
Yeah. So what are you guys like? What is Grow Now doing as far as like what are your niches of media and all that good stuff?
Yeah. So our main focus is very simple. We do two things in two ways, right? So we do social media content for clients where we'll post on your Facebook, Instagram, and not content that's generic posts. It's videos about about your service, educating and entertaining people. You can't be boring. No one wants to freaking see boring content. Yeah. We're competing with booty pics. We're competing with kids, pictures of dogs, funny videos of dogs, memes. I mean, memes are taking over. Yes. So if you really want to compete with memes, as a business owner, you have to be educational, entertaining. You have to provide some type of value so people want to keep seeing you, right? So that's one aspect we do. Another aspect is we do lead generation. And we run ads via Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And we do it in two ways. So we do it in total solutions where we'll have a company doing well, needs a marketing team, but maybe doesn't know where to start or how to do it, or doesn't know how to train someone, or maybe does know how to do it but doesn't have the time, and they hire us as an outsourced team. So instead of paying for 3 to 4 employees, they could just pay for one person, the price of one employee, and have a full-blown marketing team who's going to help their brand and help lead gen.
That's crazy.
So like we do that in total solutions, and then we do it in consultation where we'll come in and teach you our systems so you can implement it and keep it going yourself.
And I'm guessing, though, even though you're teaching them, a lot of them still have trouble implementing them. But the E3 class, that is, it was when you last segment that you did at our office, it was every Friday, and it was for 3 or 4 hours.
Yep. Yeah.
And so, like, give us, like, what is that class all about? Like, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
What did you teach people?
Yeah, so I was teaching them some ninja tricks.
Yeah. You're doing karate
Teaching them
half
how
the
to kick.
time.
Yeah, really, I was just kicking the whole time. So what we did is our our proprietary E3 process is very simple. It's broken down to 3 different days for each segment, right? So it's evaluation, education, and execution.
Okay.
Evaluation is going over your brand. How is your brand being perceived right now in general? Even in person, even online, offline, what is it being perceived? How do you talk to your customers' pain points? What does your service or product solve? There's a problem, you solve it,
Yeah.
you get paid for it. That's business.
Yeah.
So when you keep it simple in business concepts, a lot of business owners need that help of just simplifying it, where they think more is more, where less is more.
Yeah.
You look at Apple, look at all these big companies, their logos, their marketing is so simple. Nike just says, just do it with a cool looking background.
Yeah.
Like I was in LA a couple of weeks ago and they had a huge Nike billboard and it was a girl boxing determination and putting like words of like determination, champions, strength,
Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing complicated. It wasn't anything extravagant. It was simple, straight to the point.
Yeah.
So we do that type of messaging on the first day, and that takes a lot. That's a big part where people miss. So this way now your content on social media matches on your message, on your voice. Who's going to be your voice, right? I'm social media's black belt. So of course my content's going to have maybe a little kicking and punching. My content's going to have a little of this. But what are you? Who are you and are you as a business owner, and how can we market that? Because people really just want to do business with people they like.
Yep.
That's never changed. That's why referral businesses will never get, like, even bad economies would never do bad, because people will still need to do business with people they like.
Yeah.
So that's the first day. The second day is education. We go into what platforms you should be on, how often you should be on it, and then we start teaching you how to do so. So I was sending them videos of how to set up your Facebook page, how to set up your business Twitter page, your business LinkedIn. Bare minimum, at least have all your pages set up.
Yeah.
So this way I can teach you how to use tools and softwares so you can just schedule something once on a platform and have it on all these platforms.
Yeah.
So it just looks like you're always busy and active.
Yeah.
And then the last day is execution. We actually went in and had them schedule out 2 weeks worth of content. They had to bring the picture, videos, and the second day too, I taught them how to take videos.
Yeah.
They were going around your office, taking selfie videos and horizontal.
But do you have people that you see in the class, like it's hard for them even when you're telling them like this is what we're doing today, where they're just still scared and tentative, and how do you work through that?
Yeah, so that is just a work through process. I think my experience with teaching karate, I mean, I had hundreds of kids. I had a room of 23 to 6 year olds.
Yeah.
You know, all of them on like a nail of a dime. I had them. If I look at them, they'll stop and freeze.
Yeah.
So I think setting the expectation in the beginning, I set the expectation saying, hey, this is going to be uncomfortable. This is going to be this. This is going to be this. But what's the ultimate goal? So the first day I had them write down their intentions. I think doing anything aimlessly is pointless. You have to do everything with some type of intention. So I had them write down their intentions. What is this going to do for your business? How do you really want to grow your business? How do you want to go about it? And how can we utilize this next few days to get there? So I already pre-framed them.
Gotcha.
So I pre-framed them that they're going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be different. And that second day I was walking around. You know, we do 15, 20 people groups so I can be more intimate, so I can really work with them. And I was walking around, I was like, let me see your videos. How was it? But it was great. The group was really, really meshing well together.
Yeah.
They're holding each other accountable. And it was really cool. So I just had to work them through the process saying, why are you scared to get on the video?
Yeah.
If you meet someone in real life, they're going to see you.
Yeah.
Like, you're just trying to reach your network's network. We're not trying to do some crazy marketing. We're trying to stay with the traditional marketing techniques, reach your friends' network. And then if they're going to meet you anyways,
what's the difference?
You're going to go to networking events every day, your whole life.
But that's the honest truth. You're saying, you know, simple, less is more. And I've always thought simple is effective in our business. And at the end of the day, when I look at, you know, the most people I see on a daily basis is realtors, insurance agent, title people. At the end of the day, the difference is simply like taking action.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that I see like, oh, like they know the formula.
Yeah.
But the difference is just taking the damn action, just jumping off the cliff, and letting go of the fear.
Yeah.
And because when you put it in the way that you say it, of what's the difference? What's the difference between you posting this video where people are kind of connecting with you face to face, than you sitting right here and connecting with them face to face?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. There's no difference. So the difference is who's taking action and who's not taking action. That's at the end of the day, that's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, knowledge is not power; it's potential power.
Yeah,
there's only one thing that's power: it's action.
Yeah,
everyone can talk the talk.
Great little comment there.
Walk the walk. I didn't come up with it. That was Tony Robbins, but I cheat. I copy off everyone.
Yeah,
that's like my book. My book is coming out in the next 13, 15 months, and it's going to be about mentors.
Well, like we were talking about yesterday, we can't say there's no. There's very little original thoughts anymore at the end of the day. And we talk about this show is how I built it, and it was inspired. It's another name for copy, but it was inspired by an NPR podcast. And I'll give a shout out to that NPR podcast, How I Built This. How I Built This is a show that interviews Fortune 500 CEOs and interviews their stories. And I was inspired because I'm all about local small business entrepreneurs here in my community, and the podcast is to connect small businesses, tell their stories, because small businesses, even though we have all these Fortune 500 CEOs, I think small businesses don't get as much attention, local entrepreneurs. And I think their stories matter just as much as anybody else's story. So this show was inspired by a bigger podcast that works on a larger scale. And mine is here to tell the stories of local entrepreneurs and local businesses, because they deserve just as much attention as those Fortune 500 CEOs, because their stories are sometimes even more brutal or more inspiring. So there's so many people who are have this negative connotation of copying. And I think it's because they use the word copying. But in reality, imitation is the best form of flattery. And there is no, that's like saying because McDonald's was a burger shop, they can never have another burger shop. No, it's okay. So no, that's so awesome. So you're working on the E3 class. You're doing a lot of consulting. You had a great turnout, and you have another class coming up.
May 17th, 24th, and the 31st.
So who can get in this class? If there's somebody out there, small business, is it who's the common attendee?
A perfect person is someone, if you don't have a system to consistently post on your business pages, this is a place for you, right? So we're going to teach you a system, even if you don't want to do it. I'm a big believer, as business owners, we shouldn't be doing everything, right? We should be having a team to help us do things, right? So I teach a system, right? This is a system. You follow step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, boom, you have the content for your month. So because we teach that system, it's perfect for any small business owner or any size business owner who wants to understand how social media content marketing works. And this way have a system that eventually they can hire a part-time person to do it, or hire a virtual assistant to handle their marketing, but at least have a system that they can maintain it. Anything without systems don't last.
Interesting. So one more time, May
17th, 24th, 31st is going to be at your office. 9 to 1 for those 3 days, and we're only allowing 15 people.
15.
And we already have about 5 signed up. So
there's about 10 spots left. If you are a small business and you're just wanting help with branding, social media content, anything along those lines, it's not a super expensive class, is it?
No. It's one payment of $497.
It's nothing crazy. I was there every Friday. I wasn't in the class, but I was there interacting with all the attendees last time. Great energy. I saw you guys were not just sitting there. You had music going. Everybody was having a good time. Everybody's energy was positive. So I assume they came out of it with some type of knowledge that they didn't have before. And obviously, not everybody's going to have the ability or knowledge to keep it going. So I assume that's where your total solutions service comes in, right?
Yeah. If they're at a point where I learned it, I have a system, but I still don't want to do it, then that's when we could come and help. But they at least know our techniques and methods. And another cool thing is this is not just a learn and leave event. We had everyone pull up their laptops. Like they were working.
Yeah, it was interactive.
Very interactive. They had to work and apply the systems. Now I made them start Google Drives. I made them start Google, how to organize the Google Drive, how to organize their content. And then also we have a private Facebook group called Digital Marketing Dojo that it's only for people who attend the event. So this way you stay consistent after. So I have that group to help keep everyone stay consistent. And at that point, if you still want us to do everything, I mean, we had a few people going, Josh, I can't wait. I'm going to hire you in a few months. And we'll get my things consistent.
I came to the class. I get it, but I'm still hiring you. But and you had such a close-knit group. You probably had a lot of people networking too.
Yeah, it's a networking group. I mean, there's some people that already developed friendships, and they're already liking and sharing each other's things on Facebook. So having that core group of business owners that help support you is so underrated as well.
What would you say? I'm going off on a tangent here, but I think this is super important. So you have a lot of people that may watch this or may listen to this, and they have their businesses, or you've worked in corporate America as well. They're having trouble. They want to do something else. They're stuck in corporate America world. So you have two different individuals. The individual stuck in corporate America world, and you have the individual who's started their business but feels lost. Yeah. I actually had a conversation with somebody the other day who's in insurance and just felt lost and didn't know what to do. And what would you say to those individuals? Let's start with the person started a small business, feels lost, says, I don't have time for the social media. I don't have time for that. I don't have time. What do you tell them?
So I'm a big believer, just because obviously my book talks about mentors, I'm a big believer in getting mentors, right? Either paid or free mentors. Free mentors usually is the way to go in the beginning, right? You have no cash flow, you can't really invest. So the biggest thing is I always buy books or listen to books. I mean, YouTube and University is right there. I have videos that I would type in, I feel stuck. And Les Brown's video came in, how to get unstuck.
Really?
And I'd watch that video every day for 2 months. And then learn how to get out of it. So a lot of times, we don't lack resources, we lack resourcefulness. We have all the tools, we have podcasts like this, business owners can listen to and go, spark some motivation. That's all I did. I just doubled down on my personal development, doubled down when I felt lost. I read books on what to do when you're lost, how to find focus, how to find clarity. When I have trouble in my sales, I'll go and buy a sales book. I would literally, back home, I would walk into Barnes & Noble, close my eyes, breathe in. Well, try to breathe because my allergies and stuff. And breathe out. And go, what book would I read now that'll give me that biggest return in my business now?
Yeah.
And I would just walk to the book. All right, sales. Let me find a sales book. Who has the best sales book? I'll take it and I'll read it. I'll watch videos on it. I'll ask people on it. I'll go
free mentoring.
Free mentoring. Like, it's so underrated. And then if you're at a point where you could pay for your mentors, 100%. If I had $1,000 and I started my business, I would do straight to mentors.
Really?
And they'll help me overcome. They'll help me save 20, 30K of lost, effort and trial. Like, stop trying to come up with it on your own.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, but the thing is, when you look for those paid mentors, right? I see a lot in our industry that there's people who there's a lot of people who want to make money off other people.
Sure.
So I think my input for that would be, if you're going to hire a mentor, or if you're going to hire somebody to lead you or anything like that, make sure they're not just blowing smoke and just spitting out words. Make sure they practice what they preach.
Yeah.
Make sure if you're looking for somebody to mentor you in an industry that's done what you want to do, make sure they've actually done what you want to do, and check, hey, how many deals have you closed? How much business have you done? What was how did you do it? Because I see way too much individuals that want to quote unquote coach others.
Yeah.
Or anything like that, but they don't do it themselves.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing I'm writing in my book, is for people to understand, I'm hiring you as a mentor, not a coach. A coach doesn't have to play football but can coach a really good game. I'm looking for mentors, people who've been in the game and played, right? So if I'm going to learn karate, I learned karate from an 8th degree black belt. His title was Ocasio, and he's an 8th degree black belt. I see the way he fights and spars. Great. I'm going to learn from him. Yeah. Right. So business is the same concept. When I hired my spiritual coach, I asked, how many people have you helped? What have you done? What's your practice? Cool. That's perfect. When I hire a personal trainer, if I'm in better shape than my personal trainer, why would I hire you?
Amen.
You know, so it's the same concept, personal training on every aspect. So when I hired my business coach recently, about 6 months ago, I was like, all right, what have you done? What do you do? How do you process? How does your system work? Who are you as a person? What's your vibes? And that's kind of like a big thing into intuition, kind of feeling your intuition of who's this person, what they've been through, what's their story. So when I sat down with them, I'm like, what's your story?
Yeah.
Like, I want to know you.
Too many times I see individuals who get into a business, and obviously it happens more in real estate,
Yep.
but I see them get into a business and they start going to quote unquote teams and team leaders who start to recruit them on the team. And a lot of time I feel like they forget to flip the script and do exactly what you're just saying. Don't let just because you're the new guy doesn't mean you can't ask questions too.
Oh, big time.
I've seen way too many people try to build teams with the concept of simply making money off others. And I'm like, you've closed like 5 deals in your life.
Yeah.
How are you coaching others?
yeah.
Like, that doesn't add up.
Yeah,
That's like a 300-pound person trying to personally train
Yeah.
somebody to lose weight. Like, you can't do it.
And if you're losing weight, that's one thing. If you're on the process of losing weight, it's one thing.
Yep.
But if you're, as a mentee, looking for a mentor, just be aware.
Be aware, ask the questions, flip the script.
Yeah.
Make sure that your person has the experience to back it up, not just the knowledge, because the knowledge is easy to have, but the action is the difference maker.
Yeah.
You can have the knowledge, but if you don't take the action, your knowledge is pointless.
Yep.
Glad you have the knowledge. We all say we want to save money, but do you actually save money? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the ones who do.
Seriously.
So
Okay.
that's for the entrepreneur.
That's for the entrepreneur. So for the person who's in corporate America,
Yep.
and you've been here as well, and you said you went through a negative time in your life, what do you say to that individual who's just completely fearful of making the leap?
That is, you have to be immersed into what you want to do, even if you don't know what that is, right? So it's like, you have to spend every ounce of your time, not every ounce, right? But like majority of your time not working should be focused on what you want to do when you can quit your job, right? So when I was working the corporate, I was working the corporate and then going home, reading, studying, finding out what do I want to do. I don't want to stay here. Even in my breaks, I would read books. People are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm reading. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Why? Are you still, you're just so content
Yeah.
being here? You're going to be here for 40 years and retire. Like, we don't live in that world no more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's so many ways where I know friends on YouTube making $15K a month on YouTube, and they're just hanging out doing videos, and we have people who have college degrees and $100,000 in debt going, I'm stuck in this job, pay me $35K a year. Nothing wrong with that. But is that what you want to live? It's all about what you want. And if you want more, you have to just be fully obsessed with getting there. And to get there is a process. You have to read and study and learn what other people did to get there. That's all I did. I said, oh, this person was working a corporate job. He read a lot of books. I started reading books. He wrote his goals down. I started writing my goals down. They meditate every day. I started meditating every day. Like, it's not too complicated, but your environment does beat personal will. So be aware, your environment, people around you are going to try to hold you down.
Yep.
Because when you try to go outside your environment, outside your bubble, they want to bring you back in because they're low self-esteem.
Yep.
Because
I
you
see
might
that in
leave
family life a lot.
Oh, family's number one. That's the hardest.
Family is probably the worst. I mean, I see it in so many families where you're right. They don't want you to get out of that bubble and either have more success or do things that others can do, or if that bubble is stuck with negativity or lack of knowledge for finance, improving your life. The bubble is hard to break, but if you can break that bubble, it's game changer. And I've seen it happen personally with people.
Sure. Yeah. And then your family will respect you. Yeah. Now it's in a way where it's like, because people are seeing you for who you are now, not for what you want to become. Yeah. And I used to tell this to my students, I said, when you see someone for what they are, they become worse. But if you see someone for what they can become, that's when they step into their greatness.
The environment thing is so huge in business, and it really is. And you'll have people who, they'll say, oh, I'm gonna go here because I'm gonna make more money. Well, is that true?
Right.
Because we have to look at the environment of who you're around. Who are you around? Are you going to make? You may get paid more per let's say, deal,
Mm-hmm.
or you get paid more per hour,
Mm-hmm.
but are you going to be as productive as you were in the previous environment?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times what happens is they realize that the environment they're switching to is not as productive because they're not around the high energy people or the people who were actually pushing them to do better.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will be in an environment, in a workspace, where they're around people who are constantly going.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens, I've seen this in our industry, they go work, they have a new job that may pay them a little bit more, they get to work at home, or they get to do that.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? When you're at home, I'm sorry, I can't work at home.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, wife, if you're listening, but no, really,
Yeah.
I can work at home,
Mm-hmm.
but when I'm home, I want to play with my kids.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's easy to slack off when you're working at home.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm in the office, I feel productive. I
Mhm.
feel like I can go a million miles a minute, and I'm around others. I'm around energy. I'm around
Mm-hmm.
people who I'm just interacting with. So there's a huge difference in the environment in work life.
Big time.
So whether it has to do with your family, the environment, the energy for you to improve in life. Why do you think so many kids of professional athletes become professional athletes? Because the environment they're at,
That's it. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And the individuals who don't come from families of professional athletes, those are the ones who broke through the bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the truth is right there.
Yeah.
You have to look at the environment you are in, and you have to evaluate it and say, is this environment pushing me forward, or is it holding me back?
Yeah. And there's no in between. There's no stand still.
No, really.
It's either or.
Yeah. And if you think there is a medium, that's because you're fearful of making the decision. I think a lot of people are afraid of changing the environment because of the reaction that they'll get.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a very interesting perspective. We got to start wrapping it up. We've actually gone for an hour.
This is an hour?
Yeah.
What?
We're gonna have to go for another.
I feel like we can go like forever.
We'll go for another show. I actually have to meet a client in my office in 28 minutes.
All right, cool. We'll make it happen.
So I got to get out of here. But okay, Josh Munoz.
Yep.
Final thought for anybody.
Find what truly makes you happy and rich, and not rich in financial terms, rich in the way you live, your peace, your love, because that's all we really strive for. And we live in a world where money was created, all this was created. So if you live in a place where you're happy and you're at peace and you're rich internally, I mean, nothing can stop you, and you can really achieve whatever you want.
Love it. If anybody wants to connect and just network with Josh, I highly suggest it. Like he said, he can talk to pretty much anybody. And honestly, I've known him for 2 months, but I told him yesterday I feel like I've known you for 10 years.
Yeah, for real.
So reach out to him. Social media is Black Belt. Grow Now Social Media Agency.
Mm-hmm.
Find him on Instagram. Find him on Facebook. Find him on all social media platforms. If you want to attend his E3 class,
Yep.
that's going to start actually in 2 weeks.
Yep.
And that's going to be at my office. But that's just my office. You can come hang out anytime you want, but make sure to come for his class.
Yep.
Sign up with him. It's it's cost effective,
Yep.
but it's very productive. Trust me, when I saw that class, I saw so much high energy going on.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. So make sure to sign up for his class. Quick shout out to sponsors. We don't need to show them on the screen because I love them anyways. We got Empire West Title, Seth Banda, Abe Bottom from Insurance Professionals of Arizona, and then Yvonne Hunter from Platinum Warranty. Thank you for always sponsoring the shows. Lister Pro Studio, thank you for producing the show. Mm-hmm. You guys are awesome. Anybody needs any media help as far as like videos and photography, like you don't know how to shoot that stuff or develop that stuff, Lister Pros can make the videos, and then Josh's company can help you market the videos. Yeah. So Lister Pros, you guys are awesome. My name is Andrew Augustiniak. I'm the branch manager at Prime Lending in Gilbert, Arizona. If you guys need any home financing needs, you know who to call. Have a wonderful weekend. Josh, thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to the How I Built It podcast on your Apple phones. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you later.